Hey, hey, y'all know what time it is. That's right. It is your boy, Tony B. Happy Friday to everybody. Great to be amongst you. A lot of things going on in our world per usual, right? But hey, we are here and we are alive and will not complain due to that at all. So, lots been happening in our world and in our country, but I am excited about the person I am bringing on to interview on today. She is phenomenal, and I can't wait for her to get in. I'm hoping we didn't get our time zones crossed up because that would just make for this not to be a great show, and y'all just going to be hearing my voice for the next few minutes. But lots going on in the country that I'd like to talk about. There has been a series of violence breaking out throughout the country. And so now that the country has opened back up, we know we saw some amounts of violence, of course, during the pandemic, but it just seems like things are off the charts no matter where we look. Chicago, Detroit, Colorado, Arizona, like you name it, it's happening and it's taking place. And so we definitely just want to send our prayers out to those families who are grieving, for those families who are dealing with the loss of loved ones. I'll be talking a bit about that on my Monday night show, Message Mondays, with my brother, Gary Dotson, as we near the anniversary of my nephew's murder. And so we'll be talking about those things and really just bringing some light to things that are going on inside of the community. And so I do want to spend some time, well, not a lot of time. I like to start off with something, that I like to get into my interview, and then I like to close out with it. But everybody is cheering right now with Juneteenth being a national holiday. So that's what I will close out with. I'm not going to get into the details. I will share that Juneteenth was new to me as of about maybe 11 years ago. It's amazing how much stuff I learned on the poetry scene in Chicago that just was never in our history books. And, sometimes when it comes to Black history, African-American history, African history, world history, based on the conditions that you live in, most of our people are stuck in survival mode. And I know I should not use words like most because that means I've got data to back that up. And I don't have data right now. But I will say this for myself. I ran away end of my junior year of high school. I wasn't thinking about Black history. I was thinking about my Black behind, where I'm going to live, what I'm going to do, and how I'm going to finish senior year of high school. So when it comes to our history, a lot of our young people just may not be in the living conditions to really understand the implications of that and what that means. So I'll close out what Juneteenth means to me at the end, and I'll definitely have my sister weigh in. Before I even bring her in, I just want to say, Jaimi Alexander is the epitome of class, of intellect, and of fun. She is, I'm not going to call her a health fanatic. She just likes to take care of herself, period. Right? So, she posts videos that are motivational, and she doesn't think they're motivational, but they are, to see her working out, doing her thing. I consider her one of the best interviewers I've ever seen in my life. It is because of her. When you all see me struggling not to look at my screen, it's because of Jaimi, because she looks directly into her camera and she does her own production. So I get why she looks away. But for the most part, every interview I watch with her, she's looking dead in the camera, which is so hard for me because I like looking at people on my screen. But these are the things that I have learned from the fabulous Jaimi Alexander. She is a phenomenal woman. She hosts 2 shows. So let me stop bragging on this sister. Let me go ahead and bring her in. Jay, you ready for me? Just nod your head and I'll bring you in. All right, cool. I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Hi.
Jaimi Alexander, what's up? Man, first, I am just
getting myself. There we go.
I'm humbled that you would even come on to spend time with Tony Briscoe Live. Like, for real. I am humbled. You are up here for me, right? Like, you can't see my hand moving, but it's here. Like, I hold you up here. You have interviewed actors. You have interviewed actresses. You have been interviewed yourself. Your background as a model, a MC. By the way, I should let you know, I have booked 6 hours of studio time on August 1st.
Oh, really? Okay, August 1st. And what
6
city are
hours.
you? You're close to me.
I'm in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Shoot.
I'm in Chicago. You down there? You down there in Texas, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you in Texas. You in Texas, but I don't know. We gonna figure out how to work something out.
Yeah, we gotta figure something out because that
down
sounds
there
like
too.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Jaimi Alexander, how are you?
I'm good. You know, I've been feeling a little anxious lately. I think I'm in one of those spaces and times where I'm experiencing my own shift and transition. I just had a birthday, so I think that kind of brings that on. Yes, thank you.
My daughter turned 16 today.
Oh, I love it. Tell her happy birthday.
I will.
Little Cancer baby.
Yes.
She's
Cancer.
She's still Gemini.
Gemini.
That's still Gemini. Yeah, we're still. That's so cute. I love it.
Yeah. So
as well.
Yeah, I want you to tell the people about you, about what you do. Jaimi and I met on Clubhouse. She was coming. She had already run. How long did that room run before I got in there?
I don't know before you got in there, but it was a total of 8 hours.
Yeah, so I think I came literally on the tail end, and it was just like I reached out to you because I'm like your spirit does not make the spirit of this room right now. So I said I'm just gonna hit her up individually on my phone, and I did, and she responded. Now this room she hosted, you all, it was over like 400 people in there when I went in. That room was packed out on Clubhouse, and I'm like, man, who is this sister who can pull 400, 500, 600 people? I need to know who she is. I may get like 1, 2, 3, 4 on a Clubhouse room. So I was just moved by that, but I was more moved by your words in that same exact room. And when I reached out to you, I said, sis, I want to stick around and support you, but I'm an ENFJ. I'm Philly. I can't do non-peace. And you were like, hey, you came in super late to the room. It had already been running for a long time. Like, if I host another one, just let me know. But I would love for you to come on King Speak. And I was like, King Speak? What are you talking about? I'm about to be quiet. I want you to tell the people about your show. If you see me look down, it's because I'm sharing the broadcast. I want you to tell people about your show, but tell people about you, your background, and your history. Let's go, Queen.
Let's go. I love that. Thank you for all the kind words. I need that. I love that. I appreciate the support. Because you're right. I'm very much one of those people who I do things. I move from the heart. I'm involved in a lot. But at the end of the day, I don't really think about, you want to impact, but you don't think that you're always impact. Being a doer and in your beingness, you're not always able to see how you're impacting people unless they tell you, or unless you're just, you got that duality about yourself, right, where you can work and focus. And, for me, I'm just moving. So I really appreciate the love, because it tells me I'm doing something right. So I'm a host and a producer, and it's weird because it's something that came naturally. It's, when I graduated high school, I knew I didn't want to go to school anymore. I just wasn't one of those people. I didn't have any desires for college. I really hated school. I hated the way, I had to sit in that chair and learn. There was just too much force, too much restrictions. And I got good grades. So it's not like I can't do the work, but y'all are bothering my individuality right now. So, so I just knew, I was like, I'm going to try something else. So I've always been very open to life and whatever it brings my way. I wasn't a little kid thinking when I grow up, I'm going to be this or that, or I'm going to get married and my wedding's going to be like this, or I just never thought like that.
Right.
So after I graduated, high school, I actually got into real estate, which I loved because I love numbers. Math was my favorite subject in high school. I still love numbers. So I'm enjoying learning about stocks and cryptocurrency and all of this stuff going on. I've been having fun with that lately.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget just being absolutely okay, so this was 2007. I was absolutely miserable at a job because, the market crashed and it changed the real estate and mortgage off, a lot. And I just thought I was supposed to be successful. As long as I'm making money, as long as I'm showing up and doing what I have to do. And, I was raised, my parents, they're amazing, but the the generation before, like kind of like us millennials, is very much, you know, you work, you retire, you get your pension, and like it's different.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
that's not gonna work for me.
Yes. Yeah.
So
That's real. You know, I tell people now, like, the reason I admire millennials is because they didn't get stuck in the what we were told. I was in a
correct.
meeting. I was in a meeting with the rapper Common's mother, and you know, doctor, she said something that blew me away, and she said, "Don't teach this generation like we were taught."
Yeah.
Now that's Common's mother.
Correct. Wow.
She said, "Teach them entrepreneurship. Don't teach them 8 to 5, 9 to 5 is going to make it for them." And so the fact that, you know, you said that, like, yeah, this kind of was just not for me. Them pensions probably going to fold anyway. And you're going to be left thinking you got it all. And Enron's a perfect example back in the early 2000s after 9/11, that when Enron folded, when Arthur Anderson initially filed for bankruptcy, like, people lost pensions. And I knew people in the military, we got called up together after 9/11. They lost everything, and they worked it in. They lost everything.
Insane.
So you're absolutely right. And you may continue, Queen J, because I want them to hear from you. Keep going.
Yes. Yeah. No. So, you know, I do like to honor myself as much as possible in that space, because there was an innate thing about me. Me and my dad butted heads over this because he's very structured. He's a Taurus man. He's got a strong will. And he's like, this is what we're doing. And I'm like, no, I'm an airy Gemini. I'm like I need room and space and freedom. You know, my dad, he's always known that. But it just, you know, I give myself props because it was just an innate thing that I could feel it. I'm like, this stuff is cute, but how real is it? And it wasn't until the market crashed that I was like, oh, okay. So now I have nothing and I do nothing. So am I nothing? You know, I kind of had to discover that I was placing my worth and value off of what I did. And I didn't even know I was doing it. I thought I was doing what I was supposed to be doing.
Right.
Working, making money. I was engaged. I had, you know, so my life was a particular way, and I thought I did a good job. Then everything crumbled, which is often what divine does when you need to create the fertile ground in order for yourself to grow.
Yes.
So I learned a lot about myself, and it, you know, there was a lot of tough parts, a lot of ugly parts, a lot of stressful parts, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, because without that, I wouldn't have. And I'm still discovering the truth of who I am and why I'm here and how to function and what that means. And I just became really passionate about that being important, because, you know, we are created in God's image. So if he's the creator and we're created in his image, we're creators too. So I just really adopted this strong belief that everybody, and that part of that fight comes from my fight, because I had to fight a lot. I was always wrong, always grounded, doing too much, talking too much, kicking it too much. Everything that was too much is who I am.
It's who you are.
So everybody was mad. The teachers was mad. My parents were mad. I couldn't listen. I'm trying to be, you know, I'm just being the truth of who I am, but it doesn't, you know, it didn't become valuable till later. So that fight, I've always fought for that. So I fight for that for other people. Like, I don't care what you create. I want to see it. I don't care how stupid somebody said it sounds. I don't care who doesn't agree or how you're feeling. We need to see the innermost amazing and creative parts of each other, because we're all here on this planet at this time for a reason. And if we're stifling that because it doesn't make this amount of money, or it doesn't look like this or this and that, we've already piled on too many ideas that just keep us from being the truth of who we are. And I feel like we're all here together. We're going to miss something if we don't show up, or if we feel too smushed to perform or to be who we are. And we're raised like that. We tell kids to be quiet. We don't let kids talk. We don't let people. You know, it was interesting too, because I had to put two and two together, and I know I'm going all over the place, but
you're all good. You all good.
I remember I taught an acting class at Columbia in this summer program for teenagers, and it was just something that I thought was fun. You know, I was, you know, trained in acting. I had something super excited for the teens. It was whatever. After the summer program ended, I got so much love from the teens telling me that I helped them boost their confidence. I changed their life and all of these things. And that was like a byproduct of, I just wanted to see them do good scenes. But what I really saw in there is like, I made them yell. I made them scream. Like if there's a fight scene, fight. Everybody's so afraid to like open their mouth, use it, because everything's like, shh, be quiet, don't be too big, don't be too loud, don't do too much, don't do. And we're like, we're killing our creators. We're making people feel small and incompetent. I don't like that.
Yeah, because we get the saying that kids are made to be seen and not heard, right?
When we need to be listening to them.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I put in a poem that's titled after my book, Drops of Ink. I said, when kids were shushed and told to remain silent, became violent just to be heard and express a few words. Please don't shush me, because dark silence can spark a life of violence. And so them just being able to be heard and to listen, I mean, that's what you provided for them. And that's why, we can never underestimate the lives that we impact on a day-to-day basis, no matter where we are in life, whether we feel like we make so much money that I'm not your mentor, your parents should be your mentor. I've heard that from very famous athletes. And it's like, no, you're getting paid a lot of money to represent a brand. You kind of have to be a mentor, whether you want to or not. It's not really important, right? But It's having that type of relationship with young people that is really, really, really influential and developmental for them. So I'm glad to hear you brought that to the table. So your career as a model, how did that even happen?
Just because everybody
outside of the obvious fineness, how did that happen?
Really, it's so funny. It's just because everybody said I should. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. There was really nothing more to it. Again, like I said, I wasn't one of those younger, people who were like, when I grow up, I'm going to be a model. It was just kind of like, my dad was stationed in California. We lived in Orange County. Then I discovered LA and couldn't leave LA because hello is the scene. And I was like, oh, I like this. Okay, I am a Tupac fan.
Your dad was military?
Yes. And so my dad's a 20-year retired Marine. So we moved here from Japan.
Yeah, just let him know the Department of the Navy says hello.
Okay, I will. I can tell my mama because she was in the Navy when she was pregnant with me. So
hey, that's why we vibe so well,
right? Right, exactly. So I come from that. But yeah, so I just like to kick it in LA. People said I should do it. I started looking for things. I don't even know how I ended up, but BET had a show back in the day where Julissa the Spanish Princess was on drums. Julissa. Yeah, I think she was doing drums because it wasn't Sheila E. I think it was Julissa, whatever. And John Sally was hosting the show. And I think I just went to sit in the audience, but I was so excited that I discovered how to sit in the audience and get paid. So I was like, I'm going to go to LA and do all this, whatever. So I got there, I met a guy. I saw him there. I approached him. We ended up being inseparable for 5 years. And he was into that world. So he was able to help me with like phone numbers and emails and all this stuff with all the modeling, everything. And it just ended up working out. So I was booking catalogs and runway shows, print, it was fun. Then I started doing like background on movies. Like when you're that young, you just want to be in the mix just to see like what's going on, So, I just kind of started to put myself in that world and have a lot of fun. I did a lot of music videos. So I was in, I don't know if you're gonna see
I got to hit my YouTube now. I got to go.
Yeah. It's not always easy to, see me in them, whether you get background or principal after the video's cut, you never know what you're going to get. And honestly, I really wasn't the like sexy girl. The most jobs that I ever got booked for and the highest paying jobs I ever got booked for was to play a mom. So I got kids all over the place. I'm always somebody's mama, whether it's in a music video or like Prince or whatever. I was young myself and still they just be like, okay, these are your kids. And all right, sit in front of the house and whatever. So I was like, okay, definitely wasn't the vixen, but I did have a lot of fun. Like, Nelly's hot in here, Jay-Z's girls, stuff with, music, soul, like just that whole early 2000s. It was so fun. It was so much fun, which was the point.
How have you been able then, with all of that exposure, been able to stay really rooted and grounded in your own development and coming to realize who you are? Because there's sometimes you can really get caught up in, the limelight. I was reading an article on Fox News. Yes, I did say Fox News yesterday about a former Boy Meets World star who's doing other things in the entertainment industry right now, which will remain nameless. But how were you able to like just really stay grounded? Was that some of your parents? Like, how were you able to just like be rebellious but still, keep it calm and cool? If you were, that is.
Right. So, even though first of all, my dad, and I wasn't able to appreciate it until I got older. I did grow up with both my parents in the house. I love my parents, but my mom is very like, she's little, spunky, she's airy. She don't really care about much. She's never been really the disciplinary. She don't, so as far as she's my fun, my mom is my glitter. If you meet her, you'd be like, okay, I see how that happened. But my dad, he definitely was a disciplinary, and he was not playing around. Like, I was always grounded. I couldn't go nowhere. My dad spent a lot of time lecturing me, talking to me, writing me letters, trying to, make me a upright adult as parents are supposed to do. So, even though I couldn't appreciate it at the time, now that I look back, because I am an adult, I just see how that did shape me. Because like, I'm grown and I'm still like, oh my God, if my dad came across this, would it be, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and he's in
I
the
don't want him
too,
to
so
see
it's
it.
like double whammy for you.
Yeah, and he's a good man. So
Wow.
I know what it is to have a good man. My dad's not emotional, crazy. He's not a drunk. He's not negligent. He's not out of pocket. He's a man of God. He is
talk about him. Brag
faithful. Yes, faithful to my mom.
It's Father's Day weekend.
Come on,
Brag
like,
on him. I want to hear
dad
it.
shows up every day. He's never quit. He's always there. I was texting him before I got, like, he's the best person in the world. I don't know, like, how are you that composed and available? So it's just, simplify. He just, really, and me being his child, I feel like he deserves to not be embarrassed. So for the most part, I just never wanted to disappoint my dad, and I'm still like that. So I'm not going to say I'm perfect, but it kind of kept me on that leash where it's like, okay, girl, come on. Cause you already know if your dad saw that, I don't even want to see his face looking at me disappointed. So it kept me, not doing too much. And then, on the other side of things, it's like, I low key don't care. I don't need to be famous.
Yeah.
I don't need to be, it's just not, I don't know. I feel like I was just able to kind of see through. It's nice to be acknowledged. Living in Hollywood, it's nice to be honored. It's nice to be beautiful. It's nice to be recognized. Like, weren't you the girl in, so you do get a little addicted to that. Like, I want to feel like somebody.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it just wasn't like, I'm about to do any and everything to be seen and then, be that girl.
since you brag on dad, I was going to bring this up a little later in the show, but now since you bragged on dad, I'm going to bring it up now.
Bring it on up.
Because I want this to lead into King's Speak and Queens Glean. And I want you to definitely talk about what you've produced in the past and what you're producing now. But I have to ask, because the way you speak of your dad, for me, I translate that being a father for my 16-year-old. I translate that as you just not going to allow any old man to walk into your life and do any old thing to you.
I can't.
So, talk to the people about one, just you, when it comes to love, what it means to you for a man to step to you correctly.
It means everything. And unfortunately, I feel like guys this day and age have downplayed the importance and the value of it. And, I have a lot of these conversations, and I have a lot of them often because I care. I come from a family. If I did not have my family, like, that's scary. We moved around everywhere together as a unit. So no matter what, that's what and I look around now, and it's just not family oriented. We don't care. We don't big up families. We're not marketing families. We're not, and I really think that we all still have the innate desire, but the courtship process, the vetting process, and all of these things have been watered down to where, I was talking to my dad earlier today, and I was like, I surely didn't think I'd still be single in this part of my journey. But I have not connected, and I'm not going to say I don't have any fault in it, but I have not connected with a man who is prideful about being a man. Like, have some pride about your stuff. It means something. Have the desire to be a good man. Like, sometimes I wonder, are men just out here trying to get what they can get and do what they do and whatever and live their life? Or are they taking their role as a protector, a provider, and a leader seriously? Because I'm not really seeing it. And I know that men are human. And that's why it was really important for me to get King Speak together, because I really wanted to understand, men can't be the leader, the head, and okay, well, if you're going to be the leader in the head and all that when it's cute and you're getting your kudos, you're going to have to be the leader in the head also when things aren't working out.
Right.
And look at the state of things.
Yes.
It starts with you, brother.
Wow.
I'm not saying women don't have part to play, but because as soon as I say that, then it's like, well, women, I get it, but you're the leader, you're the head, you're the top, you're here first. Y'all got to do something. So I need to understand where you guys are coming from and what's going on and it's not all men, but it's just like the majority. Where is the pride in being a good man? Like, show off. Show me how good you can be. Don't you know what you will get in return but this lackadaisical, lackluster, go with the flow, unintentional, watered down, purposeful me. Wow. I can't. I don't date. I don't go out. I'm not on site because I'm not impressed. It sucks. It's, and have there been good guys that have come across my life? Of course. Like, I don't want to, again, this is not to demonize men. This is to say, hey, like, there's a real problem and we're not getting to the root of it. So if, sometimes when I say to men, be the best man and, what women are looking for and all this and that, the first thing they want to say is, they want to give me the mainstream idea of what these new women are. This is new. Like, what is this?
Right.
This is new. This new breed of what's going on came out with Instagram. It ain't even been 10 years, barely. So,
right.
I do it. I do look at women like me and friends of mine, and I'm like, nah, because y'all been playing us before all this stuff started. So what is it? And what I'm finding is it's the way we're raising our men. And I see it all the time. It drives me crazy. I've been off of social media because it low-key hurts my feelings and it stresses me out at the same time, because I'm looking at, like, what did I see? I saw somebody was like I try to explain to guys, like, there's a lot of men out there so annoyed with the independent woman talk, we don't need a man, Okay, I hear you. That's got to be a little discouraging, and it doesn't. Okay. But the women that are saying that, I'm a woman, I'm telling you, that's coming from pain. That's hurt.
So how much then? Well, first, I want to make clear to my audience, like, Jaimi Alexander does not do male bashing.
No.
The reason she started King Speak was to bring brothers onto her platform to talk and to share openly. And, get me a link to the season finale so I can post that for you. Because, man, that season finale
is so good.
I loved every minute of it. Right. So I just want to make that clear that Jaimi does not. I've never heard her bash men, and she never generalizes all black men. Literally just says, I know it's not all. And so she has to do these clarifying statements just because of who she is publicly. But I know what she means when she's bringing these things up. And so I definitely appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So talk to us about why you did King Speak, and then why Queens Glean it's like half serious, half straight, real comedy show. Like, man, the sisters you have on, man, I love them to life. They crack me up because they keep it 100. Like,
it's so good.
They're not what I consider, and don't be disrespected by what I'm about to say. Like, I consider Jaimi Alexander, like, I see a traditional woman when I think of you, right?
Good.
Yo, sisters though, they like, hey, we not traditional.
They ain't trying to hear it,
bruh.
And that's okay. I love it. Yeah. I love it.
The blend of you three, and the blend of you three is just amazing to me. Like, I think the chemistry is amazing. I think the reality is amazing as well when you deal with how relationships are now and how you have to just adjust. So talk to the people about why you started King Speak, and then the importance and relevance of Queens Glean.
Yeah, so I definitely started King Speak because the state of relationships alarms me. I can feel it for whatever reason. And I think that, back in the day, not too far back in the day, maybe like 2016, I was doing women's ministries and healings, and we had like Esther retreat, and we would go do all this stuff, with it was like women's group therapy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I was on that team and facilitating and holding space and creating content and all of this stuff. And I would get messages from the guys like, when are you going to do something for us? And I was thinking like, dang, y'all care? Like, and this is,
yes, we care, Jaimi.
I'm learning because I didn't even think, like, I had no idea. And I mean, I don't speak for all women, but I talk to a lot of people and I have a lot of friends. Like, it was important for me to do King Speak because we don't understand. People love to share, oh, men are simple. Just feed them sex and then they're good. Leave them at peace and all this stuff. And I'm like,
top 3.
Cool. Right. Sounds good. But when you're
Right.
out here functioning without emotional intelligence, you don't know how to communicate, you don't know how to identify your own problems and issues, that food and sex ain't gonna cut it. It's just not. So cool, like, because we're simple too. Women, give me a snack, give me if you just know it can be simple. So if I can say as a woman I'm simple, and that makes you look at me crazy, and you say you're simple, we got to connect.
Yeah, no, I believe you. Like, literally, my wife is all acts of service. If I like make the bed, when I do
falling out
on time.
Look at that bed.
I built a swing out back for us like 3 weeks ago. Man, she's like, she loves acts of service. If I do that, she's good. Like, I got to fix this porch step. We'll talk about that another episode.
We're gonna get the porch step.
So I agree with you in some regard. Like, it's really not that intricate, right?
We're human. So at the end of the day, the intricacies that are in both of us are in both of us because we're human. But I don't believe that men. So yes, so I started King Speak because I was curious. I was meeting men I was dating here and there, and I just was like, okay, like, he's not for me. I get it, but why he act like that? What's wrong with him? And it made me feel bad because, men feel comfortable talking to me, sharing things with me. They like the way I move. So I have a great relationship with men, but it just, when I look at the women that my guy friends were dating, who they would impregnate, who they were marrying, I'm like, okay, that's weird, but okay. And then just the guys I was dating, I'm just like, why is this happening? It was just weird. So I wanted to know and find out from the horse's mouth, not Cosmopolitan magazine with another broad trying to tell me something about a man. No, thank you, babe. No, thank you. I want to know from him why he can't talk. Like, I need to talk to him. So just doing this series, and man, there's so many interviews because it's been 2 seasons, at least 50. It's just, I was able to learn and see the differences. And that's what I think we don't talk about enough. We get used to these memes. We get used to this marketing. Men are simple. Women are complicated. Women are emotional. Men aren't supposed to cry. We got so much stuff that we're subscribing to that really isn't hitting on the reality of who we are. And I think it's messing us up. So I wanted to do it in hopes to not only better my relationships with men, but to maybe open a dialogue that would help others do the same. And also, being that I'm a woman and the feminine side of the conversation, also try to offer, something to what the men had to say. So, we did a marriage preparation interview with my boy, Nate Harris, getting ready for relationships. And it was so good. I was just like, no, my girls, we need to talk about this. Like, look at this. Like, look, girl, look. Okay. We got to talk about it. And so that's where Queens Glean came from. I had no plan for it. I just grabbed a few girls and was like, Thursday, y'all want to talk? And we just never stopped. So it was very organic in the way it worked. King Speak was actually an event first.
Wow.
It was a 5-course Scotch tasting at one of my friends' restaurants for an in-person conversation. I do events. So, but then when COVID happened, I was like, well, I'm just going to do it online. I wanted to still do it. So that's how that happened. Yeah. Boy, have I learned a lot.
So now, like, what is Jaimi working on for herself, for her career, and pieces like
me? No, I'm in a new place. I did produce, I wrote a reality show. This is the first time I've ever done that. So I want to pitch to WeTV.
You write a reality show. Like it's reality.
I wrote a reality show April of last year, which is crazy because I'm still trying to figure out, I'm just trying to figure out how to get this thing going. But I did get some yeses on boards from some amazing people. But, really, I would love to just see that. And there's a lot of, I don't know, I've been kind of like overcoming fears lately with some of this stuff because it's kind of nerve wracking to do things that you've never done before and expect to be supported. So I'm just like scared.
I was going to lean into that next. Like, and it's one of the things I struggle with. Like, I know my lack. Like, I'm a creative on the hip hop side. I'm a creative on the spoken word side. Mm-hmm. Where I lack is marketing, because that's like its own beast, and you really need a team, right? Like, honestly, like you need a team to move, and that's something where it's been hard to find people to build with you without wanting to build you. Because it's like, if I get on, we all get on. Mm-hmm. Like if I get success, we all get success.
Right.
But I found it very difficult to still garner support. You know, when I wrote my poetry book, I just knew I would sell like at least a minimum of 1,000 copies. I haven't even hit that. I haven't even hit close to maybe 200, 250 yet. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's people that will say they'll support you, but when you actually need them to step up, there's no one there. When I dropped my first album, somebody probably like, yo, you finish this album, I got $5,000 for you towards it. So I'm thinking, cool, that's going to be money for me to market. Mm-hmm. You can mark 5,000. You can market well on a local.
You can get,
You can hire somebody. Hey, I got 200. Can you market me for at least 2 months on social media? Can you do that for me? Right. Never came through. Left some messages for him, never heard from him, haven't talked to him to this day. And that was in 2018 when I dropped my first album, right? So it was just like, now my CD release party had a lot of love and support for. Like that was pretty dope. Like it was held at one of my schools, 250 people showed up. It was just like really, really awesome. My church fam came through and showed up and showed out.
Right, I love it.
Right, my daughter rocked the last song with me, so it was like awesome. She's laying vocals down, but overall, for social media, even like, tonight you put the word out, everybody follows your feeds, you hustling it, you got the ads running, you do it. And it's like, so how have you been able to deal with what you do and not feel supported by those who are in your community who say they have your back? And I know people got lives, they got other things going on. Those things I get and I understand. But what has it been like for you to push past that fear, not having that support that you feel? If I feel like you're like me, you give a whole lot to people.
Yeah.
And we don't get a quarter of that back. It's not like we do things to get that support, but it's like we all like to be appreciated and get appreciated when we're pouring out to people, right?
Yeah.
How has that process been for you? And how has it helped you overcome without it? And then how do you push past the fear of moving forward with a new great idea?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And it's really hard. It's really, 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 really hard. Again, let's see. There's part of me, it's been a journey, because when I first started doing my own thing, I had never been an entrepreneur. I never knew anything of entrepreneurship. I had mastered corporate because I was very young and smart. I learned fast. I get it done. It's very hard. If you put me in a place, I'm going to crush what I'm supposed to, crush. But I wasn't really equipped for it. So that was the first thing. So I think my first stumble when it came to entrepreneurship was the understanding of people, because the first thing you do is reach out to friends. And I started with working with friends. So before influencer marketing was a thing, because I care about people and their creativity and being seen and teamwork and coming up together. Like, I'm not just going to ask you to do something for free for me if there's no win in it for you. Like, I'm a win-win type of person. So I created, a girls team. Like I said before, influencer marketing was a thing, which is essentially what that was. But when you're working with a bunch of people, like the main people that I work with were friends, and I'm sensitive. So there was some stuff that would happen and I was upset. Like I can't, but so not having the emotional capacity to be able to deal with expecting people to be good. I had, unfortunately, I hate even saying it, unfortunately, a brother, I paid him to do some work. He never did it. So he stole my money. Like I had a couple of friends play. It was just kind of like, I wasn't ready. So I didn't know that. And I should have known because when I was 19, I sold real estate and I got out of selling houses because people not only need a real estate agent, but a therapist. And I was like 19 and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to look, you want the house or you don't? Stressing me out. Okay.
How were you selling real estate at 19?
Because when I graduated, I went and got my license and was ready to go.
At 19?
That's right.
What kind of machine are you, Queen J?
Oh, yeah. I came out the gate swinging. And
Wow.
it's funny because it's hard. I'm still struggling with it. So I cannot, say I have all the answers because it's like the person I know I am and the way I came out the gate, you couldn't tell me that anything that I did wasn't going to succeed. How? Yeah. What? Me? Nah, yeah. I'm going to do it, and then I was, some stuff, things were good and some stuff was working out. But when stuff started not to work out in a particular, it was extremely confusing. Now, mind you, I'm also getting over the personal hurdle of realizing that my value doesn't lie in what I do. My worth doesn't lie there. So I'm getting over this because I've been so successful. Mm-hmm. And now I'm in the middle of this and unsure how to navigate. And now it's falling apart. I don't know what to do. I wasn't equipped, trained, and I'm an entrepreneur. So I'm by myself. Who gonna help me? Who? I just got done giving my parents money because I was in a better situation. Like, who's gonna help me? So it's just like you're trying to let go of things, carry things, and evolve all at once. It's crazy. But it's like now I'm trying to find the balance because before I was like a major workhorse. Who knows? Childhood wounds, high performance anxiety, whatever else is going on with me.
Right.
I don't knock my ego from wanting to be great because it took me great places, but I'm not that person anymore. I've had a chance to be like, I really don't want that. Like, I don't want my life to look like that. I want this, this, and this, but I'm not willing to, I guess just maturity. But it's just like trying to find the balance between the fire I know I had and that belief that I could do anything and the real world. Because I never wanted to invite the real world into my conversation. Why? That makes me feel small. That makes me feel like I'll be less equipped to do something if I'm like, well, budget and time and this and that. I like to work from a very expansive place and push that forward. And then what lands, I feel like you get more than if you look at things like reality. But once you get knocked down a few times, you're like, okay, you get an idea and you're like, but can I really do that? Do I want to do this? Do I want to put the effort? I don't know.
Yeah. I got a lesson in humility years ago. I was an IT consultant, was really ignorant in the IT industry, right? I had no certifications. I didn't even know what a certification was, first of all. But like you may be smarter than me, but you're not going to outgrind me ever.
I can't be at work.
You will not outgrind me. I remember applying for a law firm, which I will keep, private. And I remember I interviewed with them for 3 months. All right. That's a long time to interview.
That's a long time.
I tracked down the guy. He's a chief now. I tracked him down while he was in a board meeting. And he was like, how did you get my number? He was in Minnesota. I said, I told you, man, I'm resourceful. I told you I would track you down and find you. Like, I just need a status on the job. He was like, I'll be back in town in a week. So I met with him again, and I'm talking like, when you're talking about confidence, I was over the top. Right? I grew up in the church, but I'd only been like, I think 2 years into my relationship with the Lord. I was still breaking away from the world slowly but surely, still had a lot of crazy habits, stuff that I shouldn't have been doing, I was doing. But my arrogance in this interview, I said, look, man, you're not going to find, he's like, well, I got a couple more people to interview. I said, bruh, there's nobody else for you to interview. There's nobody who can do what Tony Briscoe can do. Nobody's going to bring to the table what I bring to the table. And I just started hauling off all these tech terms. And I was like, who does this, and this. You may find somebody that can do one of each, but you can't find one person that can do all four. You're not going to find that.
Hello.
Got hired, fired at the end of the day.
Why?
Because I had worked for a brokerage firm that was being liquidated by the SEC. They were the firm liquidating that firm.
That's insane.
They had 3 months to do a background check on me. They never did it. They sent my bio around to the company that day because that's their practice. When somebody new hires, all the senior management get the profile of that person. And they were like, who hired this dude? Did y'all do a background check? We should have never hired this guy. So they called me in the end of the day. I don't know if the Lord was teaching me a lesson in ego.
Interesting.
But man, I was crushed. Because I was like, dude, I've been interviewing for this.
I went ham. Yeah.
And literally, they were like, I was like, well, some things in life like this happen. And they was like, is that all you? Like, you're not mad? I was like, I mean, I'm disappointed, but what I'm going to do? I got to go find another job. So anyway, for 8 hours work, I got $10,000 check. So, I mean, but it was like, but I feel like now because I'm mature, I'm back in that place again where I can speak confidence to what I know. But I felt like I had to go through that breaking period. But that period lasted 15 years.
You better talk about it. I'm just
coming out of it, Jay. Like that period lasts. Matter of fact, it was longer than that. The crazy story is there's a brother at my church who got that job who just retired from there. Right? Like that's crazy, Jay. What are the chances? What are the chances for the brother? And I didn't know him at the time. I said, well, when did you start working at the law firm? He was like, I said, dude,
the day after you left
that I had. That's the job I had, man.
Right.
And it was just amazing. We're in two different places in two different spaces, but I really believe like that was a period of humility for me, but it was also a breaking for me because I had my identity so wrapped up in the work that I was doing.
That's what I'm saying.
So if the job goes, well, that means Tony Briscoe goes with it because my identity is wrapped up in the job. And that's when my relationship with the Lord, I started putting my identity in him. Because the job can go. He said he'd never leave or forsake. So I had to shift. But I'm getting back to that person. But it's not with ego. It's not with hubris. It's with actually owning that I am fearfully and wonderfully made and walking in that. So I just wanted to share that quick, because I feel like that's the dude is growing back now. And I'm loving him. But there's also that fear there again. Like, do you really want to be that bold again? Do you really want to speak that high of yourself again? And, when you're in corporate and what I'm learning now with a career shift, like you got to know your stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm working on, owning, knowing, doing, believing, and just being. All right, cool. If you don't hire me, somebody else will. You're not the last company on the planet.
I can't. And I love that you brought up your identity in God. And, I go in and out. I feel like my relationship with God is complicated. Thank God he's always there. Because I'm like
100 fact.
You know what I mean? I'm confused. Like you said, look, you put it in the book right here. Where? What you, sir, help? What are we doing? So, I have that energy about me, but it's taught me patience in a way that is, patience, humility. And I'm in the same space trying to figure out what that looks like. What does my boldness and my expertise look like in order to get things done? Mm-hmm. But also in this person that I am now. And I don't know, I'm figuring it out, but I definitely think that last season kind of did a number on me because I didn't stop. So, I just kept taking the hits.
Yeah.
And then, got tired. So, and I was like, I even pray about it now. I was like, God, I'm not doing that again. So all this hard work, hustle, grind talk, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't want to hustle. Yeah. I don't want to grind. And I'd rather work smart than hard. I'm a lady.
I'm a lady.
I'm trying to get my nervous system to not be spazzing and freaking out every 5 seconds. I have a menstrual cycle. I have a womb to take care of. I need to stay beautiful. Like this world is stressing me out. What we're not going to do, is that.
Right.
I don't have to, that's one thing I don't have to do to prove myself.
Yeah.
And that's what I, and I feel in some of these decisions and the peeling back the layers and the understanding. So it's like, I'm getting filled up and I'm pruning. I'm adding things. I'm taking things off. I'm evolving, and it's just so much going on. I think it's just bringing me to the place of whatever that is. I don't know what it looks like. Maybe I can't identify it in a certain way, which I also think is part of the learning process, because before I needed to know everything. I had no idea as much of a control freak that I was. Oh, if I don't do it, it ain't gonna get done. Girl, that means you got your Jesus supposed to be taking the wheel, but here you are. You got both hands 10 and 2 tight.
Tight, right.
White knuckles.
With a seatbelt on.
Hello.
And an airbag deployed.
Everything. So, but again, I just didn't know. I didn't know how much God could be there for you. I didn't know how much to rely on my intuition or how to lean into, I'm learning. It's a dance. I just didn't know. And these are the kinds of things that I hope, there's a girl that lives below me. She's younger than me, and I try to share things with her. She has a good head on her shoulders, but some of the stuff she be tripping off of reminds me of my old self. And I'm like, girl, nah.
Baby, bye. Been there.
Girl,
not going back.
I'm going to just tell you now, stop. Because for what? You up here about to give yourself gray hairs that you don't need for I'm telling you no reason. And I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you because I've been through it. And so then I'm like, dang, I kind of sound like my parents, and I didn't listen either. So, and it's like, I want to have kids and impart on them a way of living to where they don't have to do all of this like unlearning, and they're going to have their own journey. But I wish, well, I don't know how to say. There was just so much pushback for me in who I feel like I naturally was and who I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do that to a child. Like, we don't know everything as adults, and I'm okay with that.
Parenting is rough.
I cannot imagine. I don't have kids, so I don't want to, but I cannot imagine.
Parenting is hard.
I bet, because you want to protect them.
Protect them. You don't want to. The biggest challenge for me was not raising my daughter how I was raised. That comes with yelling. I don't do physical discipline at all. I feel it's a slavery mentality that we've never let go of. But yeah, parenting, it's tough and it's hard.
I can't imagine.
I want to flip topics a little bit, because I know you got 1,000 things to do. I want to respect the time. I tell you that.
Yeah, you're all good.
Such a great conversation, though.
Yeah.
I've not done the work to find out what an alpha man or an alpha woman is. Do you know what those terms are based on the conversations you've had through Queens Glean and through King Speak?
Well, what I get from it is like an alpha male. That's the kind of man I want. I want an alpha male. So I think the whole thing between alpha and beta when it comes to these conversations is that an alpha man is, the leader, the sacrificer, the compassionate man who is still strong but capable of leading. Like, I feel like it's the type of man that you should be, where it's in comparison to like a beta.
Uh-oh. Jaimi, where'd you go? No, come back. Jaimi, come back. So yeah, y'all, we were getting into this alpha conversation because I don't know what that is. I don't understand what that is. And she's going to come back in and tell us. She'll join the link again. But every time I hear the term alpha male, for me, it's associated more so with money. But again, I haven't really done the work to understand what that alpha male is. I just thought it was more based on salary, how much a brother made, because that's what I hear most, right? I'm sure like Jaimi's already started talking about the alpha male and him being provider, him being sensitive, but leading, him being decisive in decision makings and pieces like that. So I'm gonna bring my sister back in.
I don't know what happened.
It's all good. It's all life happened. That's all.
Right. But with beta, what I'm seeing is what I'm gathering from the people is that supposedly men think that we women nowadays want beta males, which is more of a pushover man. He's not the man that's going to eat red meat, work out, build a shed in the back and like really get his hands dirty on this man thing. He's going to be the, yes, honey, well, if you want the pushover type of a guy. So I think the whole alpha beta thing came because what I'm seeing is men are under the impression that women don't know how to be with an alpha male, a man, because most women didn't have fathers and all the other kind of stuff that you want to throw into the pot.
And that's not your story at all. You're like, nope, not me.
I be looking at this stuff all the time, like, nah, but okay, if that's the excuse you want, you know, we talk too much. We talk too much in this day and age. A bunch of people who are not experts are speaking like they are, and I'm watching the confusion. Hell, sometimes I even get confused. I'm just looking at all this stuff like this doesn't make sense to my brain. Yeah. And I'm usually right about this stuff. Like I have to give myself credit at this point. There's a lot of stuff I've been able to foresee. And then after it unfolds, I was like, but I told you. I could just say, you know, this is not even about the ego. It's just you see, you know, so, and when it comes to alpha female, I think it's the same thing. Just a woman who can get it on her own, do it all herself. She don't need a man, just more of a go-getter a strong go-getter is what I'm getting from how the term is used.
So I was in the clubhouse room. It was two sisters running this room, right? And it was one of the rooms where they was like, hey, brothers, come talk to us, please.
Okay.
And both of these women probably clocked $350 a year, had their own businesses. One had just got divorced. And, you know, I just joined the conversation because I like conversating. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know, well, what happened that led to divorce? And she was just like, you know, I didn't really care that my ex-husband made less money than me. You know, he was bringing in 100 something, you know, I bring in 350 a year with I didn't really care about that. It became an issue for him. I was like, because, you know, my definition is, girl, if you winning at 350, I'm winning at 150, we renting at 500,000.
Half a mil.
We're winning at a half a mil. I don't understand what the problem is.
So but it's funny.
She broke it down though, Jay. Let me hit you.
Yes.
Broke it down. She said, you know, when I got home, all I wanted to be was massaged and wifed. That's it. I want to spend time with my husband. I want to spend time with my kids. And if you get home from me a couple of days a week, brother, just had a bath ready for me because I've had a long day. I do the same for you. You want to go out to dinner? Yeah. Where you want to go? Babe, why don't you just make the plans, bro? You know me by now. So she literally just talked about, and not giving it as an excuse, right? Mm-hmm. She literally just talked about how she just was like, I don't want to make all the decisions. I know how much money I make. I don't really care. We got 2 kids. When I come home, I want to leave business at home. If you want to go out to dinner, I want you to plan it.
Like be the man.
I mean, be the man, but yeah, be the man.
Or the active partner, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
People got issues with gender roles now too. So
it's be the man. It's be the man. Like me, I'm not the vacation planner. I'm just, you want to go on vacation? Just let me know how much it costs. And
perfect.
When we got to leave.
You. Done and done.
And I'm done.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
I'm done. Right. And so it was like, I felt for her, but the other sister who was making just as much money, she was like, yeah, she said, I get the impression when I'm going out with brothers that it's like, no, I'm not paying for dinner, bro. You ask me out. I don't care how much money I make than you. Like, it was just kind of weird. Like,
why do they even know how much money she makes on dates?
She's pretty known in the area,
okay.
You know, so, and she hung around like, the way she broke it down, she only hangs around a certain caliber of men. So everybody know, like CEOs, they know she got her own business. Right. IT, when you tell us you work in tech and you own a business, we already know, depending on how long you've been in business, that you're bringing in 190 to probably 575 if you're just starting. Like these are things that men just automatically know.
Oh, okay.
But it was still, she was just like, these cats want me to pay for dinner. And I'm like, you brought me to this expensive restaurant. I ain't asked you to bring me here. Now, I do like expensive restaurants, but you brought me here. I'm not paying, bro. So we're just kind of listening to this.
Too bad. I hate that.
You want to get one side of it, But I felt like these were two women who were very successful, who were what I consider traditional. Just like, hey, bruh, we went in together. There's no I make, you make. It's we make.
I mean, if it could.
Oh, I lost your audio, Jay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I
Okay,
think
good.
I'm just coming.
So I can't hear you. I don't know what happened to your volume, but I can't hear you. Let me try to mute and unmute you. Okay, I muted and unmuted you. I still can't hear you. Nope. What you do to your audio, Queen Jay? You know what? That's the enemy trying to silence your voice because we're on a pretty important topic right now. All right, go out, come back in. So we are in the last 15 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up. It has been amazing hanging out with the wonderful Queen Jay. And then I'll wrap up with my comments that I have regarding Juneteenth, which I'll be speaking at an event tomorrow with young people for Juneteenth. But we're going to close out with this last segment with Queen Jay, just talking about, I'm going to ask her a question, y'all. And she don't have to answer, but I want her to go into the future. And I'm going to ask Queen Jay while she's in here right now. 3 years into the future, Queen Jay. You're standing at the altar.
Aww.
What are your vows to your husband?
Oh my God. Okay.
Look in the. I want you to look in the camera. I want you to just take a little minute, pause.
Yeah, I gotta think.
Embrace the moment. Just be natural.
This is embarrassing.
It is. It is. I know. This is what I do to people. This is what I do to people. I want you to do just a couple of words. He's already proposed to you. You're already engaged. He's got a Marine's permission to marry you. That's a whole nother level.
It's a whole nother level. These guys don't understand. It's a whole nother level.
You're at the altar. What do you want to say to him?
Well, I would thank him for being who he is, because there's a totality to that I'm sure he would understand when I say that, because we will have had several conversations, as to why he's the one in totality. So I would thank him for being who he is. I would share that. I feel like I have this written down somewhere already. So I would share with him my loyalty, support, and dedication, just so he could have it out loud on the day of. I would share with him, to be honest, I low-key feel like I'm not going to have to say much because I have been through so much to have even made it to that point. I would just have to thank him for being him. He's going to know what that means. It's just so all-encompassing.
Yeah.
Because this journey is
a journey. That's my daughter's name, Journey.
That's such a beautiful name.
And we spelled it the regular way. We didn't even soup it up. I jacked up her middle name, though. She's still not happy about that. Like, she's not turned 18. I'm changing my middle name. Let it be known.
What's her middle name?
It's Corinne, but I spelled it like K-A-R-E-N. She hates it.
Oh.
She's like, why did you do that? You could have. Why?
By the time she gets old enough to change it, she might grow liking to it. Who knows?
We'll see. Hey, tell the people where they can find you. Tell them your handles. I want to know when season 3 kicking off.
Yes, absolutely. And just really quick before I get into that, I did want to share how I feel so bad for those women with money that are trying to date these guys.
Yes.
And that, I would just love to see men just get real proud about being good men and put that first. Because one thing that you said that I wanted to touch on, homegirl was right, is that people talk about gold diggers and this, that, and all of these things, but it's really the men that can't handle it. Like, if your woman makes more than you, you got that. But then it's like, it's always been challenging for me to be with a man who made less or was in a different part of the career because they're not confident. They're not comfortable. I have, even when I hear about all women don't want the men they gotta grow with. It's a lie. We be growing with these dudes. Like the last men that I've been in relationships, you can ask them, their life is better after me. They're making more money. Who cares if I'm the plug? We're supposed to be a team, but you're not cool with that. I remember I dated this one guy in New York, and we didn't date long, but I know he really liked me and all this, but I could tell, whatever, doesn't matter. He had, he had his career, but he also was doing music. And I'm extremely social. My network, I'm extremely resourceful. I'm always like, a man would be lucky to have. So I brought some of my resources into his life, and it turned out being thousands of people turned up to one of the biggest performances they've ever done. I was able to basically place them.
Wow.
I didn't even know it worked out until one of his bandmates thanked me for the connection. He didn't even have enough audacity to thank me for the connection.
Come on, bro. Where you at, man? Come on.
And it's like, there was just no respect. If it didn't even say thank you, was completely oblivious.
Yeah,
it was so hurtful.
I don't understand that. When I met my wife, your boy had no college degree, no car, but I told you nobody's gonna outgrind me ever.
It just needs to be a commitment. But these guys out here, they complain too much to be this non-committal. So get your friends before you start talking about women. Get your friends. Make sure your boys are doing correctly. Make sure you're not cutting up. But because us women, we good. We got sister circles, spa, yoga, church. That we go in. So it ain't gonna be all of them. Didn't nobody ask you to chase that girl? You wanted her. So now you think everybody wants bags and cheating and
But check, it's like I got one of my boys. He's like not in the ideal condition, living or work wise, right? And I was like, you've been seeing anybody? He was like, in the condition I'm in right now? No. He said,
I respect that.
He said, I'm having a hard time trying to convince women that, hey, like, I'm a man. And right now, I'm not feeling like that inside based on my situation currently.
And that's why they can't handle it.
So he said, they keep coming for him. And he like this interested one. And he's like, yo, I'm not in an ideal living situation. I'm not even in an ideal financial situation. I'm not trying to bring anybody into that world.
What do you think about that?
Because I grew up with him. I know him. I'm 100% on the same page with him. I'm 100% with him. Mm-hmm. Because for him, he's like, if I can't invite you to my house, like, I'm not going to invite you to somebody else's house I'm living in.
No.
Why would I do that? And he said, for them, it doesn't matter, but I respect where he is, regardless of how they feel about it, regardless, like, hey, I got my place. You can come over me. He's like, no, I know you got your place. That's cool, but that's your place. I don't have my place. And for him, if he doesn't have his place, he doesn't have his space. So anyone who comes into that, he's just like, I can't bring somebody into this world in the condition that I'm in.
You know what's funny? I read on Twitter this guy. I actually had him on King Speak, and he's very outspoken. I loved his energy. That's why I had him on. But he spoke about, there was a tweet where a woman was like, well, women are basically out here acting masculine because there are no, like, men aren't doing it. And so his retort was kind of like, it shouldn't take a masculine man to make you feminine. You should already be feminine.
Facts.
Okay, so when I look at this brother, you either are or you ain't. So your house dictates the core of your manhood. How much money you have dictates. Are you a good man or not? Are you going to be in this situation all or not? Because if you're acting like that, then I'm more glad that he's not willing to date, not because of the money he doesn't have, but the lack of belief he has in himself.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing in me as a woman can do with that.
Because that's a mental space. That's a mental space.
Can't do nothing with that.
That's a mental space. Right. And he knows where he is. I gotta respect him for that.
So I respect that. But then there's been other times, like my ex-fiance, when we got together, neither one of us, well, I was gonna say neither but one of us were balling, but I wasn't doing too shabby.
You was balling. Stop playing. I already know.
I was like,
when you say I wasn't balling, but I wasn't doing whatever. You was balling.
I was making something decent, like 20 years old, 30 an hour, you know, whatever, bonuses, all kinds of stuff. But I really feel like there were times we both had to have each other. He was more cocky. We were so young. He was more cocky than confident, but I don't remember like being younger, any of the stuff being the conversation in dating. Mm-hmm. We did what we could and we took care of each other.
Yeah.
He would never, you know, there were times where he was down because he couldn't get, but then that was my opportunity to be his woman and, you know, lift him up, show him something new. And so we were able to work it. I was even able to get him into my, my work field and double his income. But if we're not working together because you don't want to be together, where are we going? But no, everybody's at home by themselves. Waiting for the perfect bank account number?
It's amazing because, you know, before COVID, you know, single sisters at the church, single brothers at the church be like, man, I can't find. Hey, brother Tony, can you hook me? I don't do hookups no more. I stay clear of that. But it's like there are people I know who like have their preference, and I'm not anybody's preference. Like my preference is not what God put in front of me. Like I
wonder about that.
I used to date only big women. When I say big women, I mean big women, baby. I mean my boys.
Like a little 220.
Like okay. Slap Vaseline on them to get through the door. Like he's squeezed, baby, squeeze.
Right. I love it.
You know, and dark. Like literally, like I love but who I met, that wasn't it. And it wasn't a light skin, you know, dark versus dark skin thing for me. It was just this is who the Lord put in my life.
Right.
Right. And so I tell my boys, like, you can have a preference, you can have an expectation, but that doesn't mean that's who God wants for you.
It's true. And
it doesn't mean that's who God wants for you, right?
True.
You got to be able to look outside of my boy. I missed this earlier post. He said women aren't simple. He just laughed. LOL. But I really don't feel that complicated. But I'm also emotionally intelligent and I can communicate. That removes the complication. Right.
You don't have to guess why does she look like that? What's wrong with her? I'm gonna tell you, my period's starting. I'm moody. I don't know why I feel this way. I'm probably gonna cry in 5 minutes. It's just a moment. This happens all the time. I'm feeling some kind of way. What I need is ice cream and a hug. Is that so complicated? Sheesh.
I told y'all Queen J is a lot of fun, man. She is the traditional queen. I'm telling you, bro. Like, you know, I don't know her. I don't know her dating situation, fellas.
There's not one.
Okay, she said there's not one. I'm just saying, like, I know good people. Queen J is one of those good people. And if you got to be on your game when you step to her though, because she don't, you know, you got to be who you are. Now, if she got a salary requirement, that's for you to find out when you date her. That's y'all business.
I'm good. I'm not one of those women.
Yeah, I say this. I met my wife at church, and again, going to college was just never part of my plan, never part of my future. If I could go, great. If I couldn't go, you know, whatever, you know, because I'm a hard worker.
Mm-hmm.
But with her being in my life, this woman stood by the dude who was making $40K a year. My wife stayed home now.
Yeah.
She stayed home 16 and a half years.
Mm-hmm.
I found out, I think year 15, why she married me. She never told me. God gave her a dream that something was chasing her in a forest and she was naked.
Mm.
And at the end of that dream, at the end of that forest, I was there waiting for her with open arms to protect her from whatever was coming her way. She said she knew then.
And it don't cost nothing to protect your woman except your presence.
Yeah.
Your ability, your confidence.
Yeah. And
your willingness.
She's trusted me all that way. Now, my wife ain't emotional. I told you that.
Is she in Aries?
She's in December, late December. So
is that a Capricorn? No, it's a Cap.
Yeah, them cats tough, man. They tough. I
get it.
They not emotional, you know. And so she's a pusher, you know, and she's just like, hey, dude, like, why you still trying to sell life insurance? You've been doing this for 3 years and you're just not good at it. It ain't your thing. Let it go.
Right.
Focus on the things you love to do. Like, you know, do that. Like, she speaks really clear and well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I need that, and I appreciate that.
Yes.
Where can the people find you, Queen J?
You guys can find me. The best place is on Instagram, and it's at Jaimi Alexander. So that's how you spell my name. And on Instagram, you can find all of my stuff, all of my everything.
I love it. Y'all can go on YouTube to her channel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can get some previous snippets, some previous highlights. But yo, if y'all don't do anything, then y'all gotta go on Instagram and check out. Y'all have to go check out the season finale of King's Speak, Queens Glean. It was funny. It was healing. It was understanding. It was confusion. Like, you name it. Everything came up in that episode. But I loved every minute of it. I loved every minute of it. Queen J.
Me too.
I don't think you know what it means to have you on here with me on Be in the Mix. I am humbled at your presence. I am humbled at your intelligence, and your lighting game at the crib is on fire.
I'm just got to get you a little ring light, you know?
Yeah, I got to rearrange some things. Like right now, I've had to rearrange my entire setup. I have to be in my basement, but my internet just started acting crazy. I didn't want any drops. I'm on a laptop plugged into my LAN. Like, I'm getting my full, 372 down, 24 up. I just like, I want no problems doing this podcast. I'm like, I'm with Queen J. She ain't gonna let me live this down. So, on my end, now her phone cut out or whatever, that's on her. But on my end, hey, I wanted to make sure this was good. I am humbled. I am humbled by you coming on and spending time with me. We're spending time to the people who will check this out. I'm definitely going to take some advice from you. You go back, you chop things up into small snippets, and you put them out. So again, you're teaching people without you even realizing, and that's the power of your impact.
That's amazing.
I want you to know that, and I want you to take that with you. And whatever you're dealing with, I know you'll work it out. I know you'll work it through. Just keep being true to you. Always keep honoring God in everything you do. I already know you're going to do that, but these are the things I've learned from you just by watching you. And I appreciate you. And thank you for pouring into my life. And man, you know what? I'm not going to make you commit, but when you get engaged, like a brother, want to have you back on the show.
I will. I really feel like I'll say when. I'm not going to say if. I'll say when that happens. I'm going to have to do like a world tour because it will be the biggest news of the millennia. Yeah. At this point.
Yeah. And if you let me know, me and the wife will I'll say, hey, we going to see Queen J get married.
Yes, I will.
And I'm gonna bring my Nikon and I'm gonna bring my Canon with me.
I love it. It's a deal. It's a date. You gotta set that date.
Yeah. Hey, Queen, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Please have a wonderful weekend, and I hope you get to spend some time with Dad.
You too. Thank you so much. This was a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
All right, take care, Queen.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard from the fabulous Queen Jaimi Alexander. She's all that and awesome. I'm going to close out with this. And I don't mean to be offensive, so I'll say this before I speak. The thoughts of Tony Briscoe and Tony Briscoe Live are not the thoughts of Be in the Mix Media or their team. They are solely my own. Do not hold Be in the Mix accountable for what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it. It's not to offend anyone. Juneteenth is upon us. It is now a federal holiday. Let me say first, racist, I see you. I see your comments on Facebook. I see your comments on Fox News. And I see that you have nothing good to say. And I expect you to just continue to be the white racist that you are. I don't expect you to change. I honestly don't. I have no belief or hope that you'll change your racist ways. I'm glad we're honoring Juneteenth. Let it be known that Texas has been doing this since 1980. Texas has not stopped celebrating Juneteenth since then. Okay? Part of the civil rights in the 60s led up to them celebrating it in Texas. They've been doing it forever. So I never really needed it to be a national holiday for me. because I just didn't need it. But I'm going to say this. For those championing Juneteenth, I'm not saying don't. What I'm saying is I'm tired of street names and I'm tired of holidays. That's supposed to make us happy and supposed to make us thrilled. Our people were still being lynched after Juneteenth. Our sisters were still being raped after Juneteenth. Our men were still being hung after Juneteenth. Our kids were still being molested after Juneteenth. So it ain't that big of a deal to me. If you're not going to use it to empower our young people, to teach them and educate them, if it's only going to be used for commercialization, I got a Juneteenth shirt. I got a Juneteenth mask. I'm not talking about that. Like, we all want to celebrate and have something symbolic for it, right? But there were other things we were promised. 40 acres and a mule that were reneged on. So if we want to honor the words of the country, if we want to honor the words of a former president and what he promised, let's talk reparations. Now, I pull myself up from the bootstraps. I don't ask nobody for anything. I work for everything that I have. For me, that's part of the American way. But I also understand the system that I'm in. I'm not impressed with a holiday. I'm not impressed with a name. I'm impressed to see how we're going to continue to make moves to get racism out of this country. In a country where we can celebrate Juneteenth, but you can ban teaching about Juneteenth in schools. A country where you got teachers who were reenacting George Floyd in their classrooms thinking it's okay having students do it. In a country where the Black church, the most welcoming church on this planet, yes, even for the LGBTQ community. You don't believe me? Go back to San Francisco, to the Hawkins family. Welcomed a young demon into the sanctuary, and he murdered them in the church. Don't talk to me about holidays. Don't talk to me about Juneteenth. Don't talk to me about Juneteenth when you can give us a holiday, but you can't pass one anti-hate legislation to stop Black folk from being killed. But in 18 months of COVID, you can pass an anti-Asian hate bill. Don't talk to me about Juneteenth. Don't talk to me about holidays. Talk to me about what you're going to do for Black people in this country who are still being marginalized and who are still being killed. Don't bring up Black on Black crime, because there's white on white crime, there's Asian on Asian crime, there's Latino on Latino crime, and every other crime in the country. When you look where poverty is, that's where you're going to find crime. That's why rich white people in the South named poor white people in the South crackers. They made that name up to distinguish themselves. Don't talk to me about holidays. Don't talk to me about street names. Talk to me about how you're going to get this country in a better place and work on ending racism. It's your boy, Tony Briscoe. Thank you for tuning in to Tony Briscoe Live. Be in the mix. We out of here.